So that's what it's all about, okay? 3 things as a Christian we should remember. Ephesians 3:21, glorify God in the church. Put in practice Matthew 28, okay? And thirdly, remain faithful until death, and you should receive a crown of glory. France, of course, France, as he says, is the world #1 tourist destination. We have more than 80 million people visit France, okay? Then Paris, 12.5 million people, only 2 congregations, okay? The north side and the south side. Paris is also education center for the French world. It's visited by 40 million people. We have about 3 or 4 American universities and other schools from other countries in Paris. So we have a lot of people coming to Paris. Of course, they call Paris City of Light. I call it Paris City of Darkness, but also City of Sin. This is a building, farmhouse, which was built in 1750. On the left side, that's how it was when we first came up in Paris. And that's what it looked like now. That's the inside of it, as it was back in 70, then what it looks like now. Now, here's oops, I went too fast. Oh, yes, I went. Okay, this is a congregation back in the 70s. Now, here's Brother Mathurin le Cardinal. We call it Pepe, Grandpa. When we moved to Paris, he said, Roland, let me tell you a story. One day, one Sunday, he says, the only people at church was my wife and I. And he debated, he said, should I preach to my wife or should I preach? So he went ahead and preached to his wife. He said, well, those were sad days because he said, I'm getting old. If something can, what's going to happen to the church? And he prayed that God will send some people, okay? And he said, Roland, I'm so happy you and Rose are here. And I pray to God that you stay long enough that the building be filled up. I say, Pepe, rest in peace, and we'll stay until your building is filled up. That's why we came up in Paris. Average 25 people on Sunday. Of course, in Dijon, we were not that much, okay? We run between 20, 25, sometimes 30. But when we came up Paris, that's how it was, okay? One of the reasons I went up to go Paris is because we have elders. There was 2 elders. But unfortunately, it didn't last very long. One of them died, okay? And I said, well, there goes eldership. This is the congregation today. We have 22 nationalities in the church in Paris. It's a challenge. Different culture, different way of thinking, okay? But it's wonderful. It's a challenge to grow together, to learn each other, okay? And it's wonderful. Sometimes you have to be careful what you say, or, but it's wonderful that people from every place in the world can come together and be called the body of Christ, the family of God. And it's really wonderful to be able to work hand in hand. Sometimes you have to make the effort to go towards them, okay? But it's really wonderful experience. You learn from it, okay? Church attendance from 1984 to 2015. As you can see, there's some growth, okay? Then in 2002, we started the English worship in the evening. Now, we have 3 worship in Sunday. Sunday mornings in French. From 2 to 4, we have the Ghanaian group, and they speak Twi. And then evening, we have the English worship from 5 to 7. This is what God helped us accomplish in 36 years, okay? 22 nationalities worshiping together. Secondly, worship attendance went from 35 to 160. The last Sunday we were there, we had 177. And the Sunday after that, while we were not there, there was over 210 people, okay? So that was really more. Then we have Bible class went up again. Then we went from 2 persons able to preach. We have 11 brothers, including myself, able to teach and to preach, which is a great word. Then we went from 3 Bible class to 6, 1 in English, and now we have 1 in Ghanaian, okay? Then you can see we made special contribution towards mission. One fellow studied English with Rose after he studied Bible with me. He's from Laos. He obeyed the gospel. He went to school of preaching, and now he's back in Laos. Then you have another good news. We make trip from Madagascar, Mauritius Island, Africa, and other places. Then we financially supported Mauritius Island, Cameroon, Togo, Benin, Strasbourg, and an orphanage in Canada. Then afterward, Translation work. Translation work is very hard in order to translate what the person is trying to say, okay? It's not just the fact you go and Google, translate from the English into French. It's not so easy, okay? And we got 24 PowerPoint presentations in French and also available in English. Then we also have been involved with Bible camp, France, Belgium, and Germany. And the last thing we were working with, which should give us a lot of contact, is a website. Man, I don't want to. Uh-oh. Something happened. Okay, we see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, we have total membership 225. As you can see, now we only have 105 family, 100 family, okay? But we have 149 baptized and 76 not baptized. This is give you a 22 nationality. On the left side, you have a majority, 55.2% of people from Haiti. You started with 3 people. Now we have 55% of congregation. You may ask, do we have any French people? Yes, we do, but only 5%. I wish it was the other way around. But you know, the gospel for all people, for all nations. So it doesn't matter who it is, okay? So you have all the different nationalities. Next thing, okay, next slide, please. Thank you, okay. Demography of the church, okay, you have 19 retired people, 131 adults, and then 75 kids. We have a group, large group of young people and a young adult. Next slide, please. That's good to have somebody doing it for you. Okay, France has a high rate of unemployment, especially since we have a new president, François Hollande. Okay, situation is getting worse by the days, okay. So anyway, you have, as you can see, working full-time, 101, 19 working part-time, and 30 unemployed or retired. Next slide, please. Okay, contribution of the church. In 1984, it was $111, and now it's $797. Of course, you might say it's not very much for such large congregation. You have to understand, most people come from poor countries, Haiti and so on. So therefore, we don't have many white-collar people. We have mainly blue-collar people, and a lot of those people have to help their family, so they send money, so they do what they can. I wish it was double net, but it's not the case. Next slide, please. Now, what the church doing, they help us, give us a place to stay. Rent is very expensive in Paris. A flat of 900 square feet, you're looking at $2,850 per month, plus you have to pay taxes, and you pay everything else that goes with it, okay? So that's how, very expensive in Paris. So we got a place to stay. They help us a little bit with our insurance. And then we help Simon and Nadej in Cameroon. He went from school of preaching in Athens, Greece. He worked with us 4 months, and we give him a little bit of help. And then down there on the right side, Silvio, Marianne, Solomon. They're from Mauritius. We get to know them because one of the contacts we have from World Bible School, she wanted to obey the gospel, so I put in contact with Silvio, he baptized her. Then Rose and I in 1995 went over there. Now, Rose and I, we were heavily involved with World Bible School. Rosie had at one time 10,000 students. I have over 3,500 in French. But because the cost of mailing, hardly any student anymore. Next slide, please. This is a adult Bible class and worship Sunday morning. Next slide, please. This is the English worship and Bible class. Average anywhere from 12, sometimes 30, sometimes less. But we lost 3 families from the evening and 2 from the morning. Next slide, please. And here is a Ghanaian group, Bible class, and worship. Next slide. And this is the Rosie's class, 3 to 5-year-old kids. Now, what they're holding, the kids, it was a flower for Mother's Day. After worship, the kids give a flower to the mom. It was nice. Then we have the 6 to 8-year-old Bible class. The next one, please. Then you have the 9 to 12, 13 to 17. And then you have the 1 to 6 Bible class. Now, most people in the church in Paris live outside Paris because rent is so expensive. We have one family drives every Sunday an hour and a half to come to worship, 1 week. So one estate, we have very few people. Sometimes we have 4 people, sometimes we got 13, 14. And, you know, all depending each week. In the summertime, we have a lot less, okay? I wish we had more, but people, when they leave their home, 6 o'clock, to be at work, 9 o'clock, public transportation, train. We have one guy, he spent 2 hours a day just going to work and 2 hours in the evening, so it's kind of hard for them. Next slide, please. Okay, we have a large group of youth. What they did, they went to Nice. When they went to Nice, they were singing Christian hymn in the street, giving out invitation to come to the family, and 2 people as a result come. Every 2 weeks, they have a Bible in Saturday at the church building, okay? So they get together, play games and so on. It's wonderful to have young people. Young people is today's church, not tomorrow's church. And I see you have young people. So young people get involved, okay? Get those old people, say, hey, we want to work. We work for the Lord. Next slide, please. Now, there's a monthly ladies class, and the ladies take turn to teach the class. Then, next slide, we have every month men's meeting, and then the other room we have ladies meeting. But guess who finished up first? Always ladies. Men can talk for a long time. Okay, fellowship meal. If you come to Paris, come the last Sunday of the month. We have a fellowship meal. Imagine you have food from 22 countries. Some you like it, some you don't like it. Now, on this slide, you have a Turkish man that baptized, and this is his wife from Russia. Next slide, please. And then we have a Sunday evening fellowship meal. It's the second Sunday of the month. Not as big group, but we still have fellowship together. Next slide, please. Okay. Every year we have a Bible Ball. I started back in 2001. This year we have in May. Okay, it was in the book of Roland. Then we went to other congregation, and it's really good. Encourage people to study the Word of God and kind of challenge for the young and the adults. Okay, we have 3 groups. We have the 9 to 12, 13 to 17, and 18 to 88 years old. You can participate in Bible Ball. Next slide, please. Okay, I was a former baker. We had a bakery business in Pennsylvania, and I still like to bake. So in home, I do bake goods. Okay, and on this slide here, you have Lily Rose and Gabrielle. We were making chocolate cookies. Now I make pie, homemade bread, and I was making nut cookie. But Gabrielle, she said, Grandpa, when I'm going to make cluck cookies, I said, what do you mean cluck cookies? You know, it was an ice cream pie, an old one. It goes every time you go like this, you go cluck. So I said, Grandpa, we're going to make cluck cookies. And she said, Grandpa, I'll tell you a secret. Your cookies are better than Mommy's cookies. I said, you better not tell your Mommy that. Next slide. Now, use your talent. We all have talent. That's what the Matthew 25, okay, according to capacity. Use your talent. I use my talent to go in school system in Paris. I can go to preschool and teach the kids 5 to 7-year-old pastry. Okay, it's wonderful. But I always say this, one little boy I love very much is this guy right over here. Joseph is a Jewish background. Now he's 7 years old. And you know what he calls me now? Rabbi Pastry Chef. And we talk about the Old Testament. And he's amazed, okay? And then he says, you know, Rabbi, Pastry man, when I go to the synagogue, I have the privilege to read the Torah from right to left in Hebrews. And he said, when I read the Torah, it's like the light of God shining upon my face, and I feel the warmth of God's word. Fill me up. I said, man, that's wonderful. Yeah, so young. But he says, I don't understand adult people. I say, why, Joseph? Well, my mom and dad are separated. And when they see each other, it's just like fight like cats and dogs. And, I wish we're back together. I don't understand that, why they're like this, okay? And he determined to beat me on knowledge in the Bible. So then he says, oh, you're going to Africa. Africa, all the Jewish people wear the gold kippah. So please, Rabbi Pastry Chef, will you bring me back a gold kippah? Next slide. Brochure and track ministry. I would say about after 2 years ago, about 40 to 50 tracks were taken. So what we do, we leave the door to the church building open, people get in there, and then I changed. I took the old title and I put a nice picture, a new title. And first we have 150 French brochures. Now we've been working at it, okay, for close to 2 years. We have 250 French brochures. And the result right there is, Between 450 to 500 are taken every month. And as a result, we have people coming and visit church. On the right side, you have all the English brochures. Next slide, please. Bible camp. I'm involved with the Bible camp. I'm a cook and I teach also. So we go sometimes France, Belgium, or Germany. Next slide, please. And on this one, you can see some of the food we prepare. And the last time I was in Germany, I said, okay, we're going to have food from different countries of the world. So we have French, American, Mexican, Mauritian, Indian, and I forgot the seventh one. Okay, or Chinese food. So kids love it. Next. Every year for New Year's Eve party, we organize the New Year's Eve party. We have people come, friends, non-Christians, but new friends and family can come. Okay, we sing together with scripture, we pray, we have games for the kids, and play sketches. And everybody come to it are really amazing. Wow, that's a wonderful way to start up, the New Year's Eve. Okay, every year we have annual retreat for the church up in the north, which is held in Lille. Okay, they started back in the 70s. We take turns, one congregation for the program. It lasts, for a few hours. Start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon until about 5 o'clock. We have the annual retreat for the Church of the Christ in the central part of France. It takes 7.5 hours to go down there. It's good to, see people you have not seen through the year in fellowship with them. Next slide, please. Then every year, December, the first part of December, we have the preachers' meeting. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We get together, we talk about the work, what works, what doesn't work, what we agree, what we don't agree with, okay, and then spend time to, which is good, okay, for the encouragement from the work. Next slide, please. Now, hospitality, friendship, fellowship, and food at the Moshen. In Europe, you don't drop in people like this, like you do over here. First, you got to call them, okay? Sometimes they invite you. But people know that the Moshen's family door is always open. So people come in, we have lots, we share what we have. We don't have too much, we share again. But it's good time to spend together. So whether Christian or not Christian, and people know about this. Next slide, please. Another one, he says, okay, you're always welcome to Moshen. Just knock on the door, come in. This man is from Ecuador. Now, he comes from Italy, former Jehovah's Witness. He got in contact with church, study, obey the gospel. He came to Paris. Then back in March, this fella, Stephen Mendez from Venezuela, that I had a prayer to baptize, very zealous young man. He said, Roland, guess who's coming to your way? I said, who? He said, George. I said, what's the matter? He says, well, his friend who was sharing the apartment with, he won the lottery. He got drunk, and he told George, get out of here, okay? I don't need you. I won the lottery. So he said, well, he's coming your way. So George came over. He said, well, Brother Roland. So I talked to Rosie. She said, okay, we kept him with us for 2 weeks. Now he has a place to stay. Very nice, interesting fella. But I like Stephen Mendez. As I said, he searched for the truth, and he immediately obeyed. But he's so zealous. At work, when he go to the grocery store, and every place he's talking, he carries with him brochures. Some of them in Spanish, that are praying for him, and some in French. And he talked to people. He lives 3.5 hours away from Paris, in Caen. So he comes to church twice a month. So it always zealous. And it's really an encouragement. I try to encourage him to Bible study, okay? So that's what I say. It's really nice fella. Okay, open Bible study. On this particular slide, you have a man, as you can see, Bruno Valentin. He's a priest, 35 years old. Contact from the website, okay? He corresponded with me, interested in what we have to say. Then I sent him a book. A former priest is in French. It's not English. Former priest talked to you. He read the book twice. Sunday morning at Mass, he showed the people, says, if you read this book like I read it twice, you will not remain Catholic. So everybody was kind of surprised. Then the next Sunday at Mass, he says, infant baptism is not biblical. It's baptized by immersion, human explanation. So he got people puzzled. Then Christmas time, while the Mayor was there, he says, well, we're celebrating a pagan holiday. It's not a Christian holiday. So I explain what I say. Man. And then we keep corresponding, okay? And he wanted to meet me. Guess what happened? When the Catholic Church diocese heard about it, They took the young men and give them a big job. They're building a brand new Catholic church. So we want you to be in charge of it. You be responsible. So since then, you know, no more contacts. But that's really okay. Well, some people prefer the glory of man than, you know, obeying God. But I'm still praying for him that maybe, because, you know, he has the seed of the word of God in his heart. He knows the truth, okay? And that's really something. But sometimes the part of the glory of man, you know, sometimes gets a hand on young people. But anyway, so. Okay, this is Rosie teaching English. Now, if you want to make money, come to Paris. You can teach conversation English anywhere from $75 to $100 an hour. But she teach English free, but she tell all the students, I use the Bible. And one time she had 21 people come to the house studying English. And the man I was telling you, Lauken, it was a result of an English, you know, study. So it's, she used a talent, and that's one of the things. Okay, next slide, please. Now we visit the sick, member of the church, all member of the church. Next slide, please. Okay, and here we visit and encourage sister church. On this particular slide, you may not see him, is Charles White. Charles White, he spent 40 years in France. Unfortunately, he came down with cancer, and his insurance will not cover him anymore, so he had to go back to the States. So we were there in a surprise party, and we were very happy to see him. You know, great guy. He did a lot of translation. I don't know if you're familiar with Harold. Okay, visit members and contact. We try to do what we can. Most people live outside of Paris, but it's a good opportunity to visit them and encourage them for them, okay? And see if we can teach our non-Christian friend the Bible. Next slide. That was last year when Mauritius Island, okay? What we did, we have a Bible ball. I had a gospel meeting. We showed Christian film, and we went out and gave out invitation and Bible correspondence course, okay? And what happened is we went to the cité, which is seat like a zone, okay? And this lady is in charge of it. I met her in the street. I told her about it. She said, well, you can come to the hall and show, in this hall, we can show your film, the Christian film. So we went, we didn't know what to expect. But as a result, we had 29 people. So then what I did, I brought more film, I sent it to Silvio, and he's continuing doing it. So that's really good. This is the Catholic Church in Mauritius Island, not too far away from where Silvio lived. And of course, I'm always not nosy. I like to see, you know, different things, interested in those things. So I went in there, and there was a young group of people singing. I came, approached them, okay, very joyful, singing with a lot of joy and everything else, and asking, I said, well, we prepare because we're going to be singing in some kind of church, okay, with different groups. And when I left, a young guy, 17-year-old, followed me to the door. And he says, sir, I says, would you please, I want to study the Bible. Would you give me Bible correspondence course? So I did send in Bible correspondence course, okay? So sometimes you don't know when you go visit something, you can possibly make contact. Next slide, please. This man, Herbert Taylor, and his son Jeff, we know them for a long time. He was one of the last soldiers in the Battle of Bulges in Belgium, okay? He was decorated with Legion d'Honneur, which is really something, okay? But just think, one day, if you remain faithful, you're going to get the crown of glory in your head. And that's one of the, it was really something wonderful for him. He's old, he has cancer, but it was really something. We had a privilege about the ceremony. It was wonderful. And the man behind him, all decorations, is a French general. So, of course, he spoke broken English like me. And I mean, I was so happy for Herbert Taylor. Next slide, please. Now, and here you have, we all go out with Christian, try to spend some time together, fellowship. It's good for us and good for them. Next slide, please. We were blessed to baptize 410 people under Christ in 36 years of serving God. Last year, we had 9 baptisms. How many of them remain faithful? I would say over 70% remain faithful. Next slide, please. Islam, as you can see, 18% increase in Islam in France. Is growing like wildfire. #1 religion in the world. Fastest growing religion in the world today. Next slide, please. And this one, you'll be surprised. As you can see on the left side, there's a number of mosques in France, 1976, 2015, 2,500. The first mosque built in Paris was 1915, and but before that was 1585 in Mayotte, one of French islands. 1585. As it predicted, 5,000 by 2025. Now, there's a loophole on the French law. If you build a mosque and you have a study center or some kind of classes you give, they give you 30% of this to build a building, the mosque. And then 30% from the people, and the rest money comes Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Dubai, and so on. And every time you pop in your car, you're contributing to Muslim religion spreading in the world. On the right side, you have all different, how many buildings you have, okay? But they predicted, you know, as I say, by 2005, 5,000. And every week, 1 to 2 mosques are open in France. Next slide, please. This is some of the PowerPoint presentation. I'll try to go fast because I know time is going fast. Next slide, okay. This is our website, okay? Now, our website will work wonderfully if you feed it. If you don't feed it, you won't have no result. We have anywhere between 4,500 and 6,000 visits by month. The last week we were there, there's an old man, 72 years old, called from Compiègne, which is an hour and a half away from Paris. He says, look, I'm a Christian. I read what you have on your website. I'm interested. I agree with a lot of things. Can we meet? I said, listen, I'm going for 3 months, but I'll tell you what, I'll send you some material. So I sent him 2 big envelopes full of material, lasting for the time we come back. When I go back, I'll take contact with him, visit him, and we never know. Teach people. That's what it's all about. As Silvio said, give the opportunity to every people you need to say no to the gospel. But don't forget what Romans 1:16 is. It's the power of God's salvation. You have the power in you if you have the desire and willingness to teach people. Don't wait for just the elders or the preacher to do it. As a Christian, we are soldiers of Christ. We have a battle to win. Bring people from darkness into the kingdom of light. As Paul says, Colossians 1:13, okay? Next slide. So from it, this year so far, we have 77 nations visit the website. Something we'll probably never be able to accomplish by ourselves. But through the website we have, and what I do, I try to put as much as I can French material on the website so all the congregation all over can have access to it, because a lot of countries, that's one thing we like. In English, you get more than you need material. But in French, we're very poor, so we try to have as much as we can. Next slide, please. Okay, as he says in Proverbs, without vision, people perish. Without vision, you're going to die. You have a big building, but I see a lot of seats empty. It's up to you guys, each one of you. Don't say, I can do it. You have, Moses said, I can do it. So God said, shut up. You're Aaron, you're going to do your job. Our mission do it. We have a mission. You have a mission. The first time the young man gave an invitation, the first invitation I gave in Sharon, Pennsylvania, I was shaking like a leaf. I was going like this. I prepared a thing I had 10 pages. I was so nervous. My wife was there to get baptized me. I probably read the thing in my bad English in 2 minutes. I said, man. And I said, oh boy, I blew it off. And Sammy said, oh no, you did a good job. I said, come on, Roland. I said, don't tell me preach a lie. I know I didn't do it good, okay? The next time I went to Troy, Ohio, World Vengeance Forum, 500 people. I wanted to go to school preaching. There was 3 steps before you go to the pulpit, okay? Okay, young man, go up there. Guess what happened? I missed the second step. Flat on the floor. Everybody, oh. I said, oh boy, and I was going like this. Oh, my name is Roland Moshen. I like to go to the school of preaching, preach the gospel in French. Guess what happened? Even though I was stuttering and everything else, an elder from the church in Ohio, I forgot which congregation, he said, Roland, can I help you with $25 a month? I said, man, maybe she has to go back and shake it again. Maybe somebody else would give me $25 a month. I was ready, But then that's what it's okay. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, okay? Don't be afraid. You have talent, you know knowledge, you know the truth, and you know the people you see every day, or maybe some of your family are dying without Christ. You cannot remain like it is, okay? My sister, I prayed for her for 16 years. Finally, she'll be the gospel. But unfortunately, when they start building their house 12 years ago, they have an excuse, spend a week in And now she's not going to church. And now her husband is not in good health. She's not in good health. When Mama died, when she came last year, I said, Michelle, remember, you made a commitment to God. I said, you're not going to a church. You need to go back, get yourself back in a church. Because I want to see you in heaven, okay? There's only you and me. I know. I said, don't give me the I know, okay? When we came this time, we stayed with her 5 days. We didn't see nothing. And she said, oh, Roland, James and I, we want to come with you. I said, what? You want to come with you? And people are nice because, and it breaks my heart. We took her to the church where I baptized her, my brother-in-law, and my nephew. So the name is James and Michelle on place for, pray for them, okay? Next slide. Okay, well, yeah, okay. Taxes in France. France is a land of taxes. We self-taxes 20%. And you can see some of the taxes we have. Next slide, please. Now, for every dollar we get, the French government gets 64% of it. 60%. That's all of, putting all the taxes together. On our income, they take 27%. Okay? But that's France, okay? It's a socialist country. Next slide, please. Okay, we always have need. What we need, you prayer for help, prayer so we can continue, be able to connect the French world. Prayer if we have more people open-hearted. Prayer for more people coming to work. And of course, you cannot preach without any money. You can if you want to, but it's more difficult, okay? So we have lost $2,475 a month of our support. Not because you're not happy, because some churches went down, some other went liberal, so lost a lot of members. And we are looking for a new overseeing congregation. But as of today, 2 days ago, we have a new overseeing congregation to help us. Okay. And of course, when we come here, we have to raise the money for the trip, traveling, expenses, and so on. Okay. But I appreciate your time. Last slide, please. I want to thank you for the opportunity to share with you the good news. If you want to know more about it, and my background is Muslim. I was for 8 years Muslim. My mother's friend, my father came from the country, the Queen of Sheba, which is Yemen. In Islam, it's a growing religion everywhere. And therefore, you have to know, not about what they believe, but how to function, what to say and what not to say. And that will help you understand, okay? But be prepared. And that's one thing. Thank you very much, and God bless you. And I hope we were able to encourage you to be more like I said, you have a lot of space. You can fill out this building. And maybe someday you can build a bigger building, because I noticed you have lots of room over here. May God bless you, and I pray that you think about it and try to do it. You have all the people here. I know Gary Summer, a very good teacher, very, very good man. He's also so. We went out this afternoon to eat one. I don't know if I should say the name of the place or not. I saw two people serving, and I talked to one lady. She said, "Excuse me, where are you from?" She said, "Family." So I began talking to her. She said, "Bonjour, Akaye Kumaoye." She went, big smile on her face. I told her where I was, everything else. I said, "Can I have your name?" Of course, she was afraid, manager. Afterwards, she gave me a telephone number and a name, and then I called her. She gave me the address. I left it. Then there was another guy in there talking to one of the managers. I said, "Mon frère, my brother," I can see it was Haitian. "Bonjour, Akaye." He went, "Oh, you speak French?" And I said, "I'm here because I work for the church in Paris, blood Haitian." He gave me his name and address. I invited him to come, and he says, "Look, I got to work till midnight." So I gave him the card of Gary, and we pray that from it result. You never know, okay? Because there are people seeking the truth. Remember what Paul says in Acts chapter 17, verse 25. He made it. God made it. People seek God, even though He's not too far away from them. So you have people searching. Even young people in the school. Sometimes it's not easy. I asked my grandson, okay, is it easy for you to tell your friend in school that you're Christian? He said, "Oh, Grandpa, you're asking me a hard question." I said, "No, but I see you shouldn't be ashamed." And he listened to me. He said, "Well, now they respect me." Okay, what the people need, the young friend you have in school, they need to hear the gospel. You don't worry about whether they accept you or not, but they need to hear it. So they can see you're different in them, okay? You're not wrapped up in all the bad thing what is going on, okay? So I'm encouraging you to do this. If you don't know how, ask some of the older members. They've already been able to teach, and and do not knocking, do your friend, and you'll be surprised how many people will be open to understand more Bible knowledge. And I think that's what people need. Thank you. I talked enough. May God bless you.